Thank you, Valdis. Good morning. Our autumn package is based on the economic forecast that we presented a couple of weeks ago. As you probably remember, our view is that we will not have a V-shaped recovery. We are not having a V-shaped recovery. We had indeed a strong recovery in the third quarter, but interrupted by the resurgence of the pandemic this autumn. So we will have an incomplete and uneven recovery over the coming 2 years, and with persistent uncertainty and multiple risks. And we are working strongly to avoid the risk of double-dip recession. The priorities of our guidance and analysis are, from this point of view, very clear, and they are in two directions. One, to continue with the short-term policies that address the crisis and support the recovery. We know something more about the crisis now. We know that it is particularly affecting some sectors, services sectors, and among services, person-to-person services sectors. The manufacturing is apparently now living a little bit better in coexistence with the pandemic. But some sectors need a strong support. And the second pillar is to pursue investment and reforms to strengthen economic and social resilience and make a success of the green and digital transition. So emergency and transformation should go hand in hand. The Euro area recommendation reflects these two messages in a difficult situation. The Euro area will, at the end of 2022, based on our forecast, not be at the level of GDP that it had at the end of 2019. The recommendation contains a clear message about the policy stance and its sequences. First, keep supportive fiscal and other policies for now. Second, continue to coordinate measures. Third, when conditions allow, phase out the support measures in a way that doesn't stop the recovery in its tracks or harm those most affected, especially the social dimension. And then Nico will concentrate on this. The recommendation also confirms the approach that we take with the Recovery and Resilience Facility in order to mitigate the risk of further divergence and enhance economic and social resilience in the Euro area. It's about walking on two legs, implementing reforms that strengthen productivity and employment, and increasing the level of public and private investment. It also reiterates the well-functioning markets, smart, inclusive employment policies, and fair taxation. Finally, the recommendation, which is shorter than in previous years for obvious reasons, the situation we are in, puts more emphasis on public administration, justice, health systems, and insolvency frameworks. Because the better these function, the more successful we will be with the necessary transformation that our economies face. And because they are key to ensuring the swift and efficient absorption of the huge amounts of funding that will start flowing next year and under Next Generation EU. Then we have our alert mechanism report. An alert mechanism could appear an understatement in the situation we are in, because the alert is there, but the mechanism helps us to detect the risk that are in our perspective, to prevent and correct imbalances. And so the forward-looking assessment of risk is crucial also in this particular situation where, of course, the pandemic has aggravated some existing imbalances and could lead to new risk emerging. So the report highlights potentially risky developments in a number of member states. In-depth reviews will only be prepared for the 12 member states already identified last year with imbalances or excessive imbalances. And they were mentioned by Valdis. I will not repeat these 12. Finally, the fiscal package consists primarily, as always, in the opinion on draft budget of member states. This opinion is also particular this year because given the activation of the general escape clause, the fiscal recommendation issued by the Council were different to usual, with no quantitative fiscal targets set for next year. Our opinion are, for this reason, different from the past. They are qualitative in nature. Overall, we conclude that draft budgetary plan are in line with the fiscal recommendation issued by the Council. And so we have positive opinion for each of these 19 draft budget. We address then two particular issues. One is measures that appear not to be temporary. And this is something we address especially for measures in the plans of France, Italy, Slovakia, and with a different extent, Lithuania. I want to clarify that this doesn't mean that we are not approving, supporting, or we are considering negatively these measures. The problem we are addressing is the problem of their non-temporary nature. So they could be very positive measures for the economies of these countries, but we ask member states to take note of the fact that they are not temporary. And at the same time, we ask especially Belgium, France, Greece, Italy, Portugal, and Spain to consider the fiscal sustainability in the medium term of their situation. Overall, the euro area fiscal stance for next year continues to be supportive, and this is the right stance at this time and helpful for achieving a more balanced policy mix in the euro area. Of course, given the resurgence of the pandemic, the envisaged withdrawal of emergency measures in 2021 is subject to increased uncertainty. We will see. We are not telling to government to withdraw. We are even telling the opposite, as Valdis said, to be careful not to withdraw prematurely these measures. And so member states may need to extend further emergency support to provide a lifeline to the economy. And to this scope, I think that the SURE mechanism was very useful and positive, and we have now probably the 18th member state joining the club, and I think it is a very, very good message. Last two things, we have published a working paper explaining how the Commission is taking forward our commitment on the 21st agenda for SDG, and I think we should keep in mind also in such difficult times the importance of this. I will not repeat what Valdis said on Greece and Romania. In conclusion, of course, the EU and member states' decisions has made a real difference in these months. And for this reason, agreement on the biggest of the steps that we took, Next Generation EU, is of essence. You know that it has been obstructed this week, but we all know that a swift entry into force of Next Generation EU is crucial. So let me conclude with a call to all member states to show a strong sense of responsibility to their own citizens and to all Europeans at this crucial moment, and to get this recovery plan over the line. I am confident that we will be able to reach this goal. Thank you, and Nico, it's your turn.